first at 6.
This is an assault on our Constitution.
Rudy Giuliani now booked and processed at the Fulton County Jail for his alleged role in trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Tonight, more on his surrender to law enforcement. Who else has turned themselves in? And looking ahead to tomorrow, when former President Donald Trump is expected to arrive in Atlanta.
11 Alive News at 6 p.m. starts now.
Tonight, former President Trump's one-time attorney and the man who was once described as America's mayor turned himself into the Fulton County Jail just hours ago. Rudy Giuliani has been indicted on 13 counts, accused of trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election here in Georgia.
And he is the most notable person so far to be processed at the Fulton County Jail on Rice Street. So at this hour, we know 9 co-defendants have already gone through the booking process. As of today, the list includes lawyers Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis and former state GOP chair David Shafer. Now, the biggest name on the indictment, of course, is former President Donald Trump. He's expected to arrive at jail tomorrow before noon. All 19 of the co-defendants are required to turn themselves in by Friday at noon.
We have team coverage on all of today's developments, so let's begin with Bobeth Yates live outside the Fulton County Jail with more on what Giuliani had to say today. Bobeth?
Well, I have been following Rudy Giuliani from about 11 o'clock this morning when his private plane landed at the DeKalb Peachtree Airport. We left there and then followed him to his attorney's office, and then eventually he landed right here at the Fulton County Jail being booked and released. Take a listen.
I do not in any way admit the truth of those allegations. Those allegations are totally false.
11 Alive cameras were rolling as Rudy Giuliani addressed reporters after being booked and released from the Fulton County Jail. And he didn't just make his thoughts clear about the charges against him, but also the district attorney, Fani Willis.
Fani Willis will go down in American history as having conducted one of the worst attacks on the American Constitution ever when this case was dismissed. She has violated people's First Amendment right to advocate the government, to petition the government for grievances, like an election they believe was poorly conducted or falsely conducted.
Giuliani was recently indicted on 13 counts. The charges include violating Georgia's RICO Act, soliciting of the violation of oath of office, making false statements, and conspiracy to impersonate a public officer. Prior to turning himself in, 11 Alive also caught up with Giuliani's attorneys, who described the bond agreement made with the Fulton County DA's office.
Confirmed that a bond agreement was reached at $150,000. Mr. Giuliani is presently in the process of surrendering. We expect that the process will move efficiently and that it will all be done within a short while.
Now, Giuliani also told us that he spoke to former President Trump earlier today and that both of them are confident that their case will be dismissed. Sending it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Bobeth, thanks a lot. By the way, Sidney Powell also turning herself in today along with other co-defendants. And 11 Alive's Doug Richards is live at the Fulton County Jail, where a total of 7 defendants have turned themselves in over the past 24 hours. Doug?
Yes, alongside Giuliani, 6 co-defendants quietly entered and exited the Fulton County Jail, and all of them passing up the opportunity to talk with the reporters waiting outside. One of them was former State Senator David Shafer. He's accused of spearheading a scheme to replace legitimate Democratic members of Georgia's Electoral College contingent with Republicans pledged to try to elect Donald Trump. Kathy Latham also turned herself in. She's seen in surveillance video, allowing Trump operatives to enter the Coffee County election office in 2021, where video showed them scanning secure computer systems. She's accused of tampering with Coffee County's voting system. Kenneth John Cheesebro also surrendered to Fulton County's jail. He's accused of strategizing the disruption of the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. And co-defendant Ray Smith was the only one we saw today. Photographer Stephen Boise spotted him rolling down a window as he exited the jail to chat with a deputy. Smith is accused of lying to a Georgia Senate panel about alleged election irregularities in the 2020 election. All those folks came and went quietly. And still, we have a sizable contingent of co-defendants due to come in between tonight and Friday afternoon, one of whom will get a lot of attention tomorrow. Live at the Fulton County Jail, Doug Richards, 11 Alive News.
All right, Doug, thank you. Meanwhile, 11 Alive is Molly Oak joining us now from the Fulton County Courthouse. And Molly, this is the first stop for these defendants' attorneys. Most of them at this point have been able to secure bond agreements with a few still outstanding.
Yeah, 15 of the 19 co-defendants, in fact, have reached an agreement and had bonds set. Today, that included defendants who had the second and third highest bonds we've seen so far. Here at the Fulton County Courthouse, former President Donald Trump's once lawyer Rudy Giuliani's bond was announced at $150,000, the second highest behind Mr. Trump's $200,000. A lawyer and ally of the former president, Sidney Powell, received a $100,000 bond today. Prosecutors say Powell was part of the group that met in November of 2020 to look at options to influence the election results in Georgia. Another lawsuit says Powell was involved in getting a computer forensics team to go to Coffee County and copy data from the election equipment in January 2021. The former Coffee County elections director, Misty Hampton, also had her bond set today at $10,000. Prosecutors say Hampton was in the elections office in January when a group copied software and data from county elections equipment. She's also accused of letting two men who actively questioned the election results access to the office for hours. Now, along with lawyers today, we've also seen plenty of protesters outside the Fulton County Courthouse ahead of the expected arrival of the former president tomorrow in Atlanta. For now, reporting live, Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
Molly, thank you. This story is, of course, changing very rapidly, so make sure you stay connected with 11alive.com for all of the latest developments.
And folks, we got some breaking news right now. Actually, it is sad news just coming in from East Point Police. Today, they announced that they found the body of a child, and they now say they believe that child is the missing 2-year-old Josiah Mitchell. Police say around 1:30 this afternoon, they found the body of the small child at the East Point transfer station on Martin Street. They say that they have not confirmed the child's identity. They just believe that that is Josiah. But given the circumstances surrounding the case, they think it has a high probability that it is that little boy. The GBI is working to confirm the identity. East Point Police said that they are looking at the child's father as a possible suspect because he was the last person to see Josiah. We're working to try to get more details. Of course, we're going to have an update tonight on 11 Alive News at 11.
Heartbreaking story there. Well, new tonight at 6, President Joe Biden just announced that Emory University is getting more than $24 million to drive breakthroughs in health research and infectious diseases.
11 Alive's Paulo Cerro spoke with Emory University, an Emory University professor who is highlighting what that money could actually support.
That funding could help develop new ways to treat and potentially cure diseases like cancer, autoimmune disorders, and infectious diseases. A professor here at Emory University tells me that money could potentially save lives.
You have to be bold. It's a high-risk, high-reward program. We're going to make big changes. We need to make big leaps in science.
Those big leaps start in the form of a 3-year, $24.8 million cooperative agreement from a new federal agency that supports big discoveries in health. Professor Philip Santangelo says that after months of written proposals and summaries, Emory University is the first to receive this kind of funding from the group.
Unfortunately, the citizenry suffers from a lot of different diseases, and so we need to build technology that allows us to address them.
Their research will involve mRNA technology to control one's immune system in the hopes of fighting life-changing and sometimes incurable diseases. mRNA vaccines helped fight COVID-19, but Santangelo says their approach for other diseases would be slightly different.
We're not using it just to express an antigen, so something like the spike protein. Instead, what we're doing is we're using this technology to manipulate how the immune system functions.
He says this could help boost people's immune systems or help bodies become more tolerant in order to prevent rejection of organ transplants.
Some of the aspects of what we're doing, if successful, will hopefully go into Transimmune and get out into the clinic as fast as possible.
Santangelo's lab will be working with other researchers, including some from Yale and the University of Georgia, all united in the same mission to save lives. And for Santangelo, that mission is personal too.
My wife actually had breast cancer, and so it was kind of the thing where I felt like maybe this is where my focus should go.
Paulo Cerro, 11 Alive News.
Well, did you feel it today, that east wind coming in from South Carolina and northeast Georgia, bringing our temperatures down just a few degrees, but that's not going to last. We have more high heat in store.
All right, Chris, we'll see you then. Straight ahead, our coverage of the Fulton County indictment continues. We're going to examine a recent social media post from the former President Donald Trump claiming there is a giant murder wave here in Atlanta. Tonight, as former President Donald Trump prepares to turn himself in at the Fulton County Jail, he's posting on his platform Truth Social about crime here in Atlanta.
11 Alive's Grace King joins us now to verify. Grace?
On Tuesday, former President Trump posted his frustrations with Fulton County DA Fani Willis, saying she's allowed murder and other violent crime to massively escalate. So is Atlanta experiencing a, quote, giant murder wave? Let's verify. Our source is the Atlanta Police Department. They're responsible for tracking and responding to crime in the city. In 2020, there were 157 murders in the city of Atlanta. DA Willis took office in 2021. There was a slight increase that year and the year after. But since then, Atlanta police data shows crime trends have improved. APD has investigated 25% fewer homicides so far this year than they had at this time last year. The department says rapes and aggravated assaults are also down. So we can verify that no, there isn't a giant murder wave in Atlanta. In fact, if these trends continue for the rest of the year, homicides can actually decrease in Atlanta for the first time since 2017.
All right, Grace, thanks a lot for that perspective. All happening right now as Republican candidates are now preparing to square off tonight for a debate in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. However, the GOP frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, will not participate. 8 candidates are scheduled to attend the debate hosted by Fox News. Crews are working at the Fiserv Forum in downtown Milwaukee, getting that stage ready for tonight, as you can see right there. All of them are hoping to jumpstart their campaigns with less than 5 months until the Iowa caucuses. Former President Donald Trump has said in the past that he saw little upside in joining his GOP rivals on the stage, giving his lead in the polls.
In Cobb County, some changes could be on the horizon for the Cobb Link system if commissioners approve one of 2 funding proposals. 11 Live's Erica Murphy spoke with people who ride the buses to see what changes they would like to see.
More than 10,000 people ride Cobb Link buses every day, and now county commissioners are considering 2 tax proposals that could increase ridership and make getting around the county easier. Noah Minkar has been riding Cobb buses for about 2 years. He uses the Rapid number 10 bus frequently, but sees a need for more routes like that.
Like maybe there could be some other routes that could run every day or Monday through Friday. Like maybe I'm requesting a route like 103 to go like to 5 Points from maybe like Marietta or Ackworth.
One plan would cost $4.5 billion and allow the county to make improvements over 10 years. And the tax to fund the project would be in place for 30. Some of the main projects it would address include arterial transit, rapid buses, and new routes connecting Marietta to Midtown and the Wellstar Cobb Hospital in Austell. The routes would span 108 miles. The second option is a $3.4 billion tax plan that would be in place for 10 years, spanning 53 miles, and would not include rapid or arterial transit. The commission is planning to hold several events to get public input on the proposals. The first is on September 16th. And once commissioners decide which tax plan they'd like to adopt, voters will get a chance to weigh in at the polls on the November 2024 ballot. Reporting from Marietta, Erica Murphy, 11 Alive News.
You know, Chris talked about this earlier in the broadcast. The wind is helping to bring those temperatures down a little bit, but I'm not a meteorologist, but Chris, it's still crazy hot out there.
It is still hot. It's kind of weird that we're celebrating a high of 92, right?
Really?
But that was 4 degrees lower than it was yesterday when we were 96. So you have to take these celebrations whenever you can, just even though it's a few degrees different. And yeah, our high so far, 92 degrees. But something I want to show you that was really interesting from this morning. 82 degrees, that is not a typo. Our morning temperatures today, when you were heading out to send the kids to the bus stop, when you're headed out to work, 82 degrees. That ties the record for the hottest morning temperature The only other time we've been that hot in the morning time was in August of 2007. So yeah, it was a really warm morning, but at least this afternoon, it was just 10 degrees higher at 92, which is of course cooler than yesterday. But with this hot air, we still have that air quality alert. It's in effect for this evening as well as again tomorrow. It's code orange, meaning that folks in sensitive groups, if you have respiratory conditions that are enhanced by the buildup of ground level ozone, you'll want to reduce any outdoor exertion, especially later tomorrow afternoon and into the early evening. Now, before I put the temperatures on here, I want you to notice the slightly lighter colors here north and east of us, and then the darker oranges over to the west. That's thanks to that east wind. We were telling you about this yesterday. That may give us just some subtle differences in our temperatures, and that's what happened. We're 91 now. We were only 92 for a high today compared to the 96 we had yesterday. But then look to the north and east of us. We've got more of those 80s around. Duluth at 88, 87 in Athens. So yeah, noticeably cooler temperature-wise, but still enough humidity to make it feel even hotter. 97 is the heat index in Atlanta, 92 in Athens. But in Rome, that east wind didn't quite make it to you, so it feels like it's 103 degrees there. Now, take a look at future radar. We are going to be dry out there for tonight. There's that northeasterly flow that's moving in here, keeping us a little cooler. Tomorrow, we're going to be watching a weak little disturbance. Now, I think this model is really overdoing this. We're just putting in a 20% chance for a shower late tomorrow, but we may see this weak little system come in and bring in just a couple of showers that should be falling apart as they move down through the Atlanta area tomorrow. So a low risk for a shower tomorrow. Friday, we're going to stay mainly dry once again, but temperatures do go back up on Friday and on Saturday. We're talking about upper 90s to near 100. We have the chance to break or tie some records here for Friday and also into Saturday. I want to show you what's happening in the tropics right now. This is Tropical Storm Franklin moving up from the Caribbean, crossing over the Dominican Republic today. It's now emerging back out over water as it continues to move to the north. It's going to experience some shear, but eventually it is going to increase in strength a little bit, maybe becoming a Category 2 storm. Looks like it'll stay away from the Atlantic coastline, but folks in Bermuda will have to keep an eye on this late Sunday and also into Monday. There are two other systems that we're watching, actually three. One of them is that may form in the Yucatan Peninsula and push into the Gulf. The models are not in agreement on that, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. But the other two that the National Hurricane Center is watching, this system was Emily. That is going to move up toward the north, and it could become a tropical system again, 70% chance for that. Another one in the eastern Atlantic has about a 30% chance of developing, but neither of those look like they'll impact the United States either. So we're mainly dealing with temperatures tomorrow back up to around 95 and just that low rain chance, and then hotter air again Friday and Saturday. 98 Friday, 99 for a high on Saturday, close to records there. Back to 94 Sunday, increasing the rain chance slightly to 20%. Then a 30 to 40% chance for showers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That will help bring the temperatures next week back down into the 80s.
All right, Chris, thank you. Coming up, we are hearing from the new starting quarterback in Athens just days after he was given the job. Jeff Hullinger is breaking it all down in sports next.
We begin with baseball. Braves looking to pick up the series win tonight against the woeful Mets. And if Marcell Ozuna and Eddie Rosario continue to hit the way they have in this series, the Braves will take yet another series from the vanquished Mets. We like using those lines.
I think we both have had our lows dating back to last season, so it feels good to be able to recuperate the confidence, have it back, and be able to contribute to the team positively and help the team win.
Him and Eddie have kind of been carrying us here lately, but again, that happens. I mean, this thing, it's just like we had a little pitching glitch in the starting, so it's good that we got a couple of guys that are moving the ball around.
Well, we are 10 days away from the Dogs and their possibility of a three-peat, right? This time with a new starting quarterback. Over the weekend, Kirby Smart named Carson Beck from North Florida, the new QB1. This afternoon, we're hearing from Beck for the first time about winning the role.
I don't think it changed much, at least in my mindset. I mean, I think we've all performed really well during fall camp, but it is good to know that you're the guy, but it hasn't changed, my approach towards practice or my approach to watching film or anything of that sort. I mean, obviously it's been a long time. It's felt even longer than I feel like It actually has been. I mean, it's been, what, 4 years almost since I've started in a football game. You know, obviously I'm really excited.
Some troubling news, though. Running back Branson Robinson will be out for the year with knee injury. That is it for us. We'll be right back.
Before we go, we have a recap of that breaking news we brought to you earlier during this broadcast. East Point Police said that they have found the body of a child, and they now say they believe it could be the child, that missing child, 2-year-old Josiah Mitchell. Police say around 1:30 this afternoon, they found the body of a small child at the East Point transfer station on RN Martin Street. And they say they have not confirmed the child's identity, but given the circumstances surrounding the case, it's a high probability that it is Josiah. The GBI is working to still try to confirm his identity, and we're working to get more details. Of course, we'll have more for you tonight on 11 Alive News at 11.
And we're going to be dealing with the heat again tomorrow. Temperatures after topping off today at 92. Tomorrow we're going to be back up into the mid-90s at 95. Just a low rain chance tomorrow. Weak little disturbance may move into parts of North Georgia late tomorrow afternoon, falling apart before it's moving into the metro Atlanta area. We do have more high heat coming, potentially record breakers or record tying temperatures Friday and Saturday in the upper 90s. Not as hot Sunday with the rain chance coming back, and then rain chances Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and back to the 80s.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris.
And thank all of you for being with us tonight for 11 Alive News at 6. We'll see you back here tonight at 11. NBC Nightly News with Lester Holtz is up next.